Have you ever just felt like you're playing a completely different game than everyone else? Like the whole world is busy climbing ladders, but you're over here trying to solve some kind of massive puzzle? If that sounds familiar, then stick around, because we're about to dive into the unique psychological architecture behind that feeling, the truth seeker mindset.
I mean, really think about it for a second. If you look around and you see people chasing promotions, followers, all that social validation, but something deep inside you is pulling you in a totally different direction. It's a fundamental question, right? And today, we're going to unpack the answer. Now, let's be clear. This is not about judging one path as better than the other. Not at all. It's really about understanding your own internal compass and figuring out why it consistently points to a different north than the one society usually maps out for us. It can feel pretty isolating, can it? That constant pull to understand things on a deeper level, to connect the dots and find out what's real. While the conversation around you might just be about what's on the surface, you're always wondering about the hidden reality underneath it all. Okay, but what if that feeling isn't just random? What if there's an actual scientific reason your mind works this way? A reason that's rooted deep in psychology? Let's get into it. So, if you've ever felt out of sync with the world, I really want you to hear this. It is not because there is something wrong with you. Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's because you possess a distinct, and believe it or not, a surprisingly rare psychological trait. And here it is. The term is self-transcendence. Now, thinkers from Viktor Frankl all the way to Abraham Maslow have talked about this. It's not just some passing interest. Pay close attention to the wording here. It's an innate need. It's a core part of who you are that just has to find meaning beyond the stuff you can touch, beyond what society usually calls success. So just how rare are we talking? Well, according to a whole bunch of research in positive psychology, only about 2% of the population consistently scores high in this trait. Just 2%. That's it. So this isn't just some little quirk. It's a defining characteristic that puts you in a very, very small group of thinkers. So what does it actually mean to be in this 2%? Well, it points to a totally different internal engine, a core driver that explains why you're wired this way. And it shapes everything, your decisions, your relationships, how you see the world. That drive has a name, authenticity orientation. And it's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. It just means your actions are guided by this deep-seated need for your inner self and your outer life to match up perfectly. You are fundamentally oriented towards being genuine. And this right here, this really gets to the heart of the difference. A huge part of the world operates on adaptation. Adjusting who you are, conforming, playing a part to get social approval. But for you, the psychological price for doing that is just way too high. You operate on authenticity. Being true to yourself is everything, even if it means you end up walking a lonelier path sometimes. But here's the really cool part. This orientation doesn't just make you different. It actually equips you with what you might call psychological superpowers. Think about it. When your brain isn't constantly trying to process social cues and figure out how to adapt, all that mental energy is freed up for other stuff. It fuels a richer, more complex imagination. And your intuition? It becomes this finely tuned instrument because it's not being drowned out by the noise of what you should be. It's just focused on what is. So what does this all boil down to for you? Look, this isn't about slapping a new label on yourself. It's about fundamentally reframing your own identity and just recognizing the way you're naturally built. If there's one single thing you take away from all this, let it be this. Just let that sink in for a moment. Your entire system, your thoughts, your feelings, your deepest needs, is built for one primary purpose: to be authentic. You're not built to simply adapt to the world around you. You're built to reflect a truth within it. And that's exactly why it can feel like such a struggle sometimes. You can't just switch it off. This isn't some preference you can change like you're changing a shirt. It is the very blueprint of your mind. It's your architecture. So, what do you do with this information? You embrace it. You recognize your strengths, and maybe, just maybe, you connect with others who share this rare architecture. If any of this rang true for you, if you felt that little spark of recognition, then welcome. You're not alone. The only question left is, are you ready to own it?